It's official.
Accident.
You did? What did you say?
I used the S word. Hello, Google.
I used the S word the other day on the. What did we determine? Are we allowed to use the S word?
I think it's frowned upon by management.
Well, here's what I did the other day. Dan and I were at Guns N' Hoses, where we've become a fixture. We're Hall of Famers, you know.
You are. You've got rings and everything.
I wish I had my ring on. I don't ever wear it. I really like it, but it's
a handsome ring.
So ostentatious. I don't want to explain to everyone.
It doesn't really fit your personality.
I'm like a little bit embarrassed to like say, "Oh, you're a Hall of Fame, really? Guns N' Hoses? You know, did you fight? No. But so. We do the DVD broadcast for Guns N' Hoses every year. I would encourage everyone, if you like the show, the radio show, you might like the DVD because we cut up. That's what we do the whole time. And this year, as you know that we'll do, if you listen to us in the morning, we're stupid sometimes. This year we got on the theme of our production crew wasn't doing a good enough job for us. Oh, where's the cameraman when we need him? Oh, we don't have a monitor this year. Oh, we just, embellished and made a big deal the whole time. Our keister's flapping in the wind here. And that was an undercurrent. So we got to the very end of the broadcast, and I signed off, well, that'll do it for us from here at Guns N' Hoses. You just watched two guys make chicken salad out of chicken.
Wow.
And said it.
Wow.
And that was like the concluder. Because a well-placed curse word can be funny. Too many of them, and you just look low class.
It's true.
Right?
Yes. I believe we were talking about, like fisticuffs, like intra-office fisticuffs, and somehow the prospect of me fighting a young Drew Hicken came up.
Oh, when did this happen?
I don't know. It was during an after drill. And I sarcastically said that I would beat the blank out of Drew Hicken, which of course I would not. Drew would literally pick me up over his head.
But you never fancy yourself as some sort of tough guy fighter.
No. Yeah. But Drew's kind of a scrappy young sort.
I think so.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to really...
Apple tree.
Yeah.
Dan, when he was that age, was even worse, but I won't get into his personal business. I'll let him tell you.
Yeah.
I did get a haircut, Googans, from last time. Remember I told you I'd had the longest time I'd ever had a haircut, ever?
Yes.
Not had one? So I got that taken care of.
I picked up a new set of clippers to continue my quest of being the home haircut dad.
Do you cut your son's hair?
That's what I'm going to start doing.
Yeah, you have
I've been cutting my hair forever, but I don't have guards for it anymore because I just shear it all down.
Dude, Mrs. P cut you're fine with boys. They don't care if you cut their hair. And my boys thankfully, it's so funny how culture goes like up and down and things that are in and they get out. And we caught one of those waves where you could buzz a kid's head and he didn't look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like there have been some, eras that if you buzz your kid's head, he's the only little towhead in there with a buzzed head. Yes. And, but there was also, it was popular there for a while. Half of their classes had buzzed heads, so that worked well. Mrs. P, and then when they got older, she started cutting their hair. Cutting it,
styling. Well, that's what I did with the petite. Sheared up the sides and then got the scissors out. And
you're giving them fades.
I did the whole thing, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was...
maybe there's a future.
I think I could, a third career option.
I love staring up at the Utah-Houston dime bet. That's very elaborate setup there.
I go all out on these.
Artwork-wise.
The dime bet, I've really it's tapped into my creative...
you've even got a little disclaimer at the bottom that looks all official. It's very, very impressive.
It's big time.
We're probably due for another one. The next dime bet in play, we haven't had any other than, we've had three. I lost one, he lost one. Well, and Taylor lost one.
Taylor lost one.
And the one that I lost was baloney. I got snookered into the stupid... I promise you this. Almost to the point that I will offer to leave broadcasting if it doesn't happen. I am going to beat his rear end in the Friday 5-pack so bad that I'm going to make a dime bet on how bad I'm going to beat him. So that even if I win the Friday 5-pack, which I will, unless I beat him as bad as I say I'm going to beat him, I'll spin the wheel.
Wow.
That's how much I'm going to beat
confidence.
him.
Matthew asked any news on Telvin. I don't think we have anything...
I think we need to and I think we need to do this. To be honest with you, I think we need to just tap the brakes on this whole Telvin thing. It's April, dude.
Yeah.
Not that your question is uninformed,
right.
because we've played it up. We're guilty of we kind of start the fire. And now we're asking everyone to put it out.
But that ball started rolling downhill real fast.
I mean, look, is Telvin Smith in the best graces of the franchise right now? I'll tell you, no, he's not.
No.
But this notion of something's wrong per se. Right. Maybe Telvin is just unapologetically taking advantage of the rules of the NFL. Right. And when he doesn't have to be there, he doesn't have to be there. Much like you on the weekend, don't go to your job.
Right. And look, I would not be surprised if the reports are true that the team asked him to take a pay cut based off of last season.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of money. They've got guys they're going to have to pay. That's a strong business move to try and get that guy to take less money based off of last year. So if he's playing hardball with him, then that's what you do. You don't come to these things.
I don't. That's unfair, but that's the life in the NFL because they paid Telvin Smith quickly, after his first year. Then he made All Pro. He didn't go back to them and say, "Well, All Pro linebackers make this much." At least to my knowledge, he didn't do that. Yeah. So, look, Telvin needs to play better. Forget what's happening right now in April. He needs to play a little bit better. And again, I'm saying that about is it a 2-time Pro Bowler maybe? Definitely a 1-time Pro Bowl and a 1-time second-team All-Pro. But I haven't heard anything lately. I told you I would find an answer to that by the end of this week. I still plan on doing that. 41. Alvin Kamara. That's a good one.
That's a good one going right now.
That's the best one.
There's a good one going right now.
But now he's got to finish. Yeah. We got into a conversation today about the number 41 in football, maybe the most non-star laden number ever worn, and Kamara is better than the other ones that we had.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's narrowly
Eugene Robinson was a good player.
He's narrowly better than Byers.
I think he's a little bit better than Byers.
One of the previous comments asked if we feel good about the offensive line. I know, just speaking for myself, I feel like it's pretty significantly improved, but health is a big question mark with Cam Robinson coming off that ACL. That's a big that raises an eyebrow. But if Robinson's healthy and you expect Meester and Linder to be fine. Not Meester. What am I saying? Linder and Norwell to be fine, and then you've got Can on the right side, and then with Taylor, I feel much better about.
Here's how important the offensive line is. 3 years ago, when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, they had 0 missed starts by their offensive line all year. Mm-hmm. They're a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Last year, they lost almost their entire offensive line, and they won 6-7 games.
Yeah, they struggled.
I mean, it's
hard.
Look,
that's a good team.
It's probably not going to stay and play. All linemen are going to get hurt. It's a big mass of humanity, 300-pounders playing with evil intent. Every 30 seconds on Sunday afternoon. So you're going to get hurt. You're going to get banged up. But if you could be so fortunate as to play this entire season healthy, then the Jags will be a playoff team.
Even by NFL standards.
If the Jaguars' 5 offensive linemen start every game, they will go to the postseason.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that won't happen, and it won't happen anywhere else in the league either.
No. Now, last year's...
But they are better with
run,
no doubt.
Of injuries was, impressive even by NFL standards.
But they
were very beat up.
And here's why I think, though, that the health is vitally important. As good as Jawaan Taylor may end up being, I don't think right out of the gate, year one, Jawaan Taylor is any better than Jeremy Parnell.
Maybe not.
When he's healthy.
Right.
Like 2 years ago when the Jags...
Right, when Parnell was... Yeah.
A big part of that offensive line that allowed Leonard to run for over 1,000 and the team to go to the AFC Championship game. So, there's that.
Now, Parnell's a guy who, as of yet, has not been picked up by an NFL team.
I wonder if there are some injury issues going on there.
Yeah, you worry, and he's getting up there. But yeah, we feel better about the offensive line. But like Jeff said, health is always the biggest question mark. If they can stay reasonably healthy, then it'll sure be a big boost.
I can't, but I mean, I can still gush, though, and glow about what they were able to do on draft day. To get both Josh Allen and Jawaan Taylor. It's really like the year that they got Ramsey and Myles Jack, and lo and behold, the next round got Unique Ngakoue in that draft. And I believe maybe even D.D. Westbrook the following round, but that may have been 2 years later.
And if Josh Oliver and Quincy Williams end up being quality players, yeah,
that's true.
Especially Quincy Williams, because they were very high on Quincy Williams, and everybody else thought it was a reach. So if Quincy Williams,
I was writing a column today that still says the Jaguars didn't know what they're, the 9 storylines of the draft 3 days later. One is the Jags took one no one had heard of. Well, that's not really true. We heard Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers say that, we heard of him. We were onto him. So I hope he is a beast. He might be. He might be a beast. I'm not going to... Listen, here's where it's fair. It's fair in 3 years to say, and if he's not, say, I mean, come on, man, stop it already.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yes,
I mean, and there are those blemishes on the Coughlin resume from his first time around. Cordell Taylor, real similar, second round pick. What? Terrible. So terrible. I think that I think the concern is, even if he's good, you're not going to be able to convince me or a lot of people that you still couldn't have got him 2 rounds later. That's the point. It's not that you took the kid; it's that you took him in round 3.
But at least if he's a player,
it won't matter.
It doesn't.
That's
matter.
correct. If he's a player,
but if he's
like
terrible,
Unique Ngakoue should have been a 1st round pick.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right, like Telvin Smith. Like, yeah, it was a big find in the 5th. If you had taken him in the 3rd and he ended up being the same player, you'd be like, well, wow, you probably could have gotten him in the 5th, but I'm glad you got him either way.
Well, yeah, like I said, if the results come, it doesn't really matter where you took him. Right. It's always better to. But if you're a Pro Bowler, then a 3rd round is a great place to pick someone. You're doing it good.
Andre says Rock Armstead's the rookie he's most intrigued with. I'm curious to see what that running back room is like totally flipped over outside of Fournette.
This is the Jaguars' first foray into what has become a really good NFL strategy, and that is go find a 3rd, 4th, 5th round running back from a BS school, but not a Power 5, right. So a non-Power 5.
Right.
I mean, I can list off to you guys a ton of guys that have come through, but this is the first time the Jaguars have done it. They've drafted running backs, but they're big. They're T.J. Yeldon in round 2. Correct. An example of what they should have done. David Johnson from what was he, like Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois? Where was he?
David Johnson. It was like Eastern Iowa or something like that.
So David Johnson goes in round 4 of the same draft, and he's much better. Tariq Cohen of the Bears, a MAC school, middle of the draft.
Right.
Tevin Coleman of the Atlanta Falcons, now the 49ers.
Kareem
Hunt. You find those guys in the 3, 4, and 5th round out of MAC or AAC.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see Rock Armstead, because he's the first time the Jaguars have tried this strategy that has worked so well for other teams.
And he's definitely a guy who, like you said, at that kind of lower tier but still FBS level, produced.
And here's the deal, and it's because of running backs like that teams are so wary to use first-round picks on running backs.
Because if you start hitting on those guys, then you feel like, well, then you just get a revolving door going.
I think there's a belief that there's not a big enough difference that if all things else being the same, the line block's the same, the defense defends it the same, that the difference in Rock Armstead, a 6th rounder or 5th rounder from Temple,
right,
and Leonard Fournette, a 1st rounder from LSU, is not as big a difference as, say, Aaron Donald and Michael Bennett from it's just whoever.
Right.
So anyway,
it is what it is.
All right, we got hoops tonight or no?
We got one game tonight, Denver-Portland's tonight at 9. So,
I call that the Forgotten Series.
The Forgotten Series.
Yeah, if you play that thing after 9 o'clock, it's been documented 8 people east of the Mississippi
8 people will watch it. 3 of them are Chuck and Ernie and
then they'll fight about it.
And EJ. They're required.
The heat is kind of on those TNT boys. There's been more than one of them, I believe, who has picked Portland to win it all.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Warriors, I think, have steadied themselves a little bit, right? I mean, their knees wobbled a little bit in that 1st round series where the Clippers went into Golden State and 1-2. So for Houston to go in there and not be able to steal one of those 2 wins gives a big advantage, because now if you're Golden State, you go on the road, you win 1 game in Houston, and it's pretty much series over.
Early on, they didn't look as dominant, I think, as both you and I thought they were going to be come playoff time, that they were going to flip that switch and just start steamrolling people. Yeah. They haven't been that, but like you said, these 2 games against Houston, that's a really good team that they've looked really good against.
And the last 2 games, they at least look like, it doesn't look like anyone in the East is going to. I mean, let's remember this. No. LeBron had to bring it and got swept by Golden State.
Right.
So, you think like Kyrie or Antetokounmpo or guys that couldn't beat LeBron are now going to go beat the Warriors?
Right. Yeah.
Consider me dubious.
LeBron going to the Lakers was a huge win for these other guys in the East, because now one of them gets to go be on the big stage.
Well, and you know what? This is a referendum on Kawhi Leonard. It's a referendum on Kyrie Irving. It's a referendum on Giannis Antetokounmpo. When LeBron was there, he was enough to beat all of you and go to the finals. Well, now that he's not there, are any of you guys big enough to single-handedly take a team to the finals no matter what? Don't forget that the narrative on LeBron now, and I think it's accurate for a lot of years, was you could have taken LeBron, put him on any team in the East, and they would have won the East. And I think the Cavs proved that. He went from a title winner in the Heat to literally the worst team in the league, the Cavs, and they went to the finals the very first year.
Next year.
So, and I don't think right now you feel that about any of you don't feel like if they put Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Heat that they would go to the championship.
No, they'd be a nice team.
And so the only player that can argue, to me, is Kawhi. And he's been out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Maybe Giannis can in a couple of years, but right now, I mean, because Kawhi's been there, done that. He's won titles with the Spurs. He's been the main man. But can he be that presence of a team leader? He's just so quiet, isn't he? He's better as a combo with someone. So
the Cardinals fans have descended into the comments, which means it's time for us to wrap up.
why the Cardinals?
They just said, "How about them Cardinals?" Because they know.
What is where's Taylor? Is she doing? Is she okay? Is she?
I think she's
Have you followed any of her social media?
I've seen. She just liked a photo I posted of this sweet ass jumbo shrimp lid.
You have the biggest head, man. Look how this thing fits my head.
It's like a bucket on you.
It is. I mean, literally, I got
comfortably. Yeah.
I got much room.
I'm a 7 3/4 Googans. If anyone wants to pick me up a fitted, I like the low price.
I mean, what are you using this opportunity to pander for free stuff?
Payola, man.
Wow. All right.
Is that illegal?
I'm out.
Go Cubs. I can't say anything about your Cardinals because they're very good. Goldschmidt was a huge get, and
go
they're
Braves.
doing great. I hate
bleep the Cardinals. Bleep the Cubs. Bleep the Mets. Bleep them all.
You heard it here first. Love you, Googans.